Hey guys, welcome to this session by Intellipaat. Websites are such an important thing in a business's life cycle, right? Not only businesses, if you're an individual, if you are a small business, or be it a multinational company too, a website adds so much value, and there's a reason why there's millions of them, and we have millions of people who visit these websites as well. Now, keeping this in mind, we here at Intellipaat have come up with this video where you can find out how you can build your website for free. But then, guys, before we begin with the session, make sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell icon so that you'll never miss any updates from us. And now, coming to the agenda of the session, we'll start out by taking a quick introduction to understand what web development is. Now, after this, it becomes very vital that you know who a web developer is and what he or she does as well. Followed by this, we'll be checking out the building blocks that make up a website itself. After which, we can check out the steps that are necessary to build a website end to end. Now, after this, I'm sure you guys are curious about the career perspectives of being a web designer or a web developer as well. So, we're going to check that out in detail. And lastly, I'm going to have a demo, a hands-on session where I'll be showing you guys of how you can build a small website. If you're looking for certification in HTML, make sure to check out the latest offerings for HTML certification on the Intellipaat website. And now guys, without further ado, let's start the class. Well guys, before we even get to the agenda of the session, I wanted to ask you if you knew these facts. See, for example, there's 4,000 new devices that keep connecting to the internet every single minute of a day. Well, how cool is that? 4,000 new devices. And the number that you see on the bottom is the total number of devices that are connected to the internet across the globe, active devices right now. Now, what is the world's population? And look at the number of devices that we have that's connected to the internet, making use of an internet in one way or another, right? So it might be a person who's using a computer to watch a video on a website or something, or it might be a person who's coming online to shop or whatever it is, right? The active number of devices that are connected to the internet is astounding. Now, we live in a world of internet, right? See, websites are something which has been super commonplace right now, right? So everyone has a website. You might have friends who have resumes on their websites, portfolios if they're photographers. People who have their own businesses have websites. People who have brands have websites. People who are writing blogs, keeping journals have websites. So everyone in today's world has a website. Now, when you think about it, why is this kind of a trend going on, right? Well, the internet is one of these things where you can do anything that you wish to, right? If you want new information, if you want to learn new thing, understand something new, just like how you're doing right now, you come to the internet and then you want to buy something. Of course, you can buy whatever you want, right? I mean, there are many ways to buy many different products of your choice. And then do you want entertainment? Yes. Do you want to watch your favorite TV shows on Amazon Prime, Netflix, or wherever it is? Yes, even that is possible. And I've just put in three of the main use cases of the entire the website era and the internet rush. But when you think about it, even if you want critical information, right? So for example, how do you perform CPR on someone, right? So it's an emergency procedure that is very much required in the knowledge base of everyone. So you can find multiple videos regarding medicine. So it's wealth of information that I'm sure you guys already know about it for now. So coming to the important point of this particular video, it's basically teaching you how to build a website for free, right? So what do you all need to know on how you can go on to build your websites? But then before that, we need to know what goes on into making a website, right? See, this field that we call as web development is something which involves, making a website. It's not only making a website, it also involves creating web applications as well. See, whenever you begin to work in web development, it means there are multiple paths that you can take, and it's not only one thing that a web developer will do. For example, there's something called front-end development, there's something called back-end development, there's maintenance, there is support, there's so many different things which goes on into building a website. Now, a front-end developer is very much responsible to create the user experience, right? So as soon as you go onto a website, any favorite website of your choice, if the website is very nicely laid out, you can find out whatever it is that you're buying or watching very easily, then of course, right, you'll be happy. But then if you have to like go on through multiple web pages and it's very complex to go through, or it just doesn't make you happy going onto the website, that's a bad user interface, right? So that is what a front-end developer is responsible responsible for creating a good user interface, making sure that at the end of the day, whatever is seen on the website is aesthetic, it's functional, and of course, it drives a good experience. Now, a backend developer is responsible for making sure that there is content that goes onto the front end, making sure that there is functionality to the website, making sure that everything, right from data storage to security and a lot more. Now, coming to building a website, you might have many questions, right? So, okay, so what do I choose? Do I become a front-end developer or a back-end developer? Can you do both? What is the salary like? So, you'll have so many different questions such as this, right? So, which to choose depends on what you like to do. If you are inclined towards, front-end or back-end development, so which to choose is definitely something that you and you alone can answer. Are you into creation of graphics? Are you into creation of beautiful looking aesthetic websites, or do you want to be a coder in the backend who wants to provide solutions, who wants to work with servers, databases, and whatnot, right? Can you do both? The answer is yes. A full stack developer does both. He or she will have the capabilities to go on to do all the things done by a front end developer and a back end developer both. And what is the salary like? Well, putting one number into this is very hard, but do understand that this is one among the top paying jobs of this particular decade and the next one as well. So that is something which is very important that you should understand. And then let's talk about actually building a website, right? See, as I told you, a front-end developer is concerned with so many things, right? He or she should be looking at how one can go on to theme the website, all the coloring, color schemes and whatnot. Then of course the basic layout of what goes where and how it can be presented the best. Styling, of course, right? So each website is unique in its own way, and whatever stands out to a majority of the crowd is considered to be a good style, right? So this is all of these are something a front-end developer will take care of, while a backend developer has many technical things to look at. For example, how will the front end connect to the backend? Where is the data stored? How can one go on to work with it easily? See, there'll be multiple users in a website, right? A person who creates the website themselves, there'll be administrators, there'll be users, there'll be people who are maintaining the site. There's so many things to handle. Users is very important. And then security. If your data is online on the internet, it is at its most vulnerable state there, right? So in that particular case, making sure that your website is secure, the data information there is secure is vital. And of course, a backend developer is also responsible to drive good website performance, because for many things including SEO and a lot of other things, having a website that performs well is good. It's not only for the technical requirements, right? If you open a website and it takes 10-15 seconds to load, even though you have a super fast internet connection, it means that the website is not very effective, it's not efficient, and it's not quick enough. And this actually turns down a lot of people. A huge population do not like a website which loads slow. So in that particular case, that is something very important too. Now the question is, who is a web developer? Well, a web developer is this person who creates websites, who has the capabilities to write code to create web applications as well. So what he or she does is that he or she works on the logic of an application, building the basic framework, building the basic backbone of a website. And of course, it's not only just doing all of this, it's about doing it in a clean way. What we call as clean code is in a way the code is not redundant, it is very efficient at what it does, and of course it is reusable, right? So this is something which is very important. And since you guys are looking towards building a website, becoming web developers and whatnot, I think this is something you definitely should choose. So circling back to the same point of which one you should choose, right? If you like visual designs, if you love creating user experiences, you should consider working in the front end. But then if you like working with data, algorithms, optimizing complex systems, then guess what? A backend developer's job is something which is very which would appeal you to the max, in my opinion. Now with that, you will have a question saying, okay, all of this is fine, but what are the building blocks that make up a website? Well, the first things first, whenever you see a website, what's the first thing that you notice? The layout, right? What's laid out? Where are the images? Where are the text? Why is it laid down the way it is? The animations and whatnot. So the layout is the first thing in the front end that you notice. And after that, as a person who's willing to build your own website, you'll of course look at the content, right? Now the content is very different for two different websites. For example, one e-commerce site might look very, very different from another e-commerce site, even though they might be selling the same items. You will have had experience experiences with this, I am sure. So you look at the layout first, you'll be thinking about the content next, and the next thing is, where is it on the internet, where is the data stored, right? This is where we'll talk about web hosting. We'll get into that in a while, but you really should know that a layout is something you would notice first. Of course, there's content that makes up a website, then all of this layout plus content creates the front end. It's all hosted on the internet somewhere, and it's not only this, many times it has to be as secure as possible. In that particular case, adding a lot of security methodologies for a website to make sure that it is prevented against unauthorized use is something that's important. And lastly, we are living in a mobile era right now, correct? I mean, 99% of the tasks we do today is on our mobile phone. So when you're viewing websites, if it works fine on a computer monitor, but it fails on a, let's say, on a TV or something, or on a laptop, or even a tiny device like an iPad or a mobile, then it doesn't make sense. If it's all jagged, if it gets cropped out and whatnot. Now, in that particular case, making sure that your website works both on the desktop screen and of course on mobile platforms with various resolutions, that is something that you should be looking at as well. So what are the steps that one can use to build a website? Well, the first thing, in my opinion, that would help you get started quickest if you come from a non-technical background, or if you, let's say, you do not have the time itself to go on to build a comprehensive website of your own. In that particular case, you should know that there are multiple free website builders out there. What these free website builders are is that they'll give you a layout, they'll give you a template. All you have to do is fill in the content, and at the end of it, you will have a complete website ready without you having to, write a single line of code. Now, you might be wondering, well, I do want to write code. I want to become a developer. I'm going to work with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap, all of this. Well, correct. You can do all of that, but this is the case in case if you do not want to do that. See, a simple Google search. See, it's very simple. All you have to do is go onto Google, type free website builders, right? See, you will see multiple, famous websites through which you can build your own website. For example, one really famous one is Wix.com, and even Google is now giving you a free website builder as well. Wix is definitely something that a lot of people I know, a lot of friends that I know have started their businesses with, and they give you a lot of beautiful looking templates to start with if this is your particular case. As I just mentioned, even Google does provide a free website builder. So one of the things that you definitely could be looking at if you want a quick start is by making use of a free website builder. Now, the second thing you might be wondering is, okay, if I do use a free website builder, do I get a free hand in adjusting the layout that I want, or am I stuck with whatever they give? Well, many website builders have the limitation where you have to use their own templates, right? I mean, they would have created a lot of drag and drop facilities there to make sure your experience of creating a website is easy. In that particular case, definitely I would suggest, whatever is your requirement here. See, there might be all the templates in the world, but it might not satisfy your exact requirement, right? This is like art. You will have an idea in your head and you want that on your website, and there's a very good chance that there won't be a template that exactly matches that idea. Now, in that particular case, you definitely should look at working with code, writing your own HTML scripts, writing your own CSS styling elements, and going on to creating something from scratch that works just for you. So your second step of building a website is somewhere you definitely should sit and give some time to think about if you are okay with using a template and starting from it, or if you want to build from scratch. Now, based on this decisions, the next couple of steps will change, but then most of the commonalities, the basic scaffolding is the same, so follow through. Now, as I told you, with using templates, with using website builders, right? See, there's a lot of drag and drop facilities where, as I told you, you really do not have to write any piece of code. If you want to add a functionality, if you want to add a picture into your particular website, all you have to do is drag the picture from somewhere else and place it wherever you want on the website. Well, how convenient is that? If you have to do it manually in code, you will have to at least write, let's say, 10 or 15 lines of code to go on to do it really well. So if you are well versed with that, if you like that kind of an approach, again, both of this will have the same result at the end, where you can place images wherever you want, but it depends on how you want to approach it. If you want to approach it from a non-technical aspect, use a drag and drop facility. If you want to monkey around with code, definitely you can do that too. So after understanding all of these features, one very important thing is that it is your website. It is what you are doing, right? It might be because you're doing it for yourself, your business, or whatever it is. Customize it as per your requirement. Sometimes there are website builders, there are templates online which are customizable in a way where you can use something as a foundation that they provide, and of course customize it later, change it around to have it as per your choice. It is not like you are given one HTML file or something where you cannot edit it. All HTML files are actually to an extent editable and you can work with it, which I'll show you at the end of this video. But it is very important that you have to customize it in a way which fits your requirement, and there is no one solution that fits all problems here, and I'm sure you already knew it at this point of time. So you can have certain drag and drop facilities, but at the end of it, if you want to perform some nifty changes to it, you can head to the code and you can write then and there, do some changes to the code, and you can see it reflect directly on the website again, which I'm going to show in the demo as well. And after that, you'll be looking at something called as free hosting. Now let's say you have designed a website, it's on your computer, everything is ready, your website is working fine, you've put in good security methodologies, you have user authentications done, you have a login page, you have forms, you have many things, and your website is ready. But to get it out to the world, you have to use something called as hosting. Hosting is when you take the entire data of your website and put it on a server that is always running. Now, what happens if you're hosting from your own home with your internet connection is that as soon as you turn off your laptop or PC where it's been hosting from, your website is not live anymore. So whenever someone searches for it when your PC is off, it means they cannot reach the website because there is no data that's being shared to the internet. But with hosting, what happens is that your website will always be live no matter where it is hosted across the globe. Any user sitting on any corner of the globe, of course, now even from space, they can sit and view your website. Again, there are many websites that are available for free hosting. So all you have to do is type free hosting on Google, and you again, right, it's all as simple as Google searches. But then to do this, you need to know what to search for, right? See, there's so many places, there are so many websites. 00 web host is something which is very popular. I have used this a couple of weeks back, in fact, myself. So you will find out a lot of things that these guys provide. See, for free hosting, they're going to give you 5 domains that are already hosted. They're going to give you 250 MB of disk space to store all your data in. You can have traffic worth of 6 GB per month. You'll have 3 email accounts, you'll have databases, you'll have database storage, and you have many things, right? So it's not only just 1 or 2 websites. You will just have to see what fits your plan. For example, hosting can be very cheap as well. For example, hosting, it says they're ready to give you plans from 59 rupees a month, right? So you'll have one website, one email ID, you can have somewhere around 100,000 monthly visitors, SSL certifications, resources. There's so many things, right? Even if you pick up a premium plan, for example, something that is like 115 bucks a month, this is of course Indian rupees, guys. So if you want to pick something up, you will have a good working website which is hosted online, which won't really cost you a lot of money, and that's my point. Free, of course, yes, you can do it, but if you have to pay for the premium features, yes, you can do it, and the returns on hosting is definitely something that will help you a lot. And the next thing is, after hosting or while hosting itself, you need something called as a domain name. Now, what should people search for to go on your website? Now, of course, see, they can punch in an IP address and they can get into your website, but that is not the point here, right? People cannot go on to remember IP addresses for 100 different websites, so they need a domain name. For example, www.google.com is a domain name. Facebook.com is a domain name. Instagram.com is a domain name. Harvard.edu is a domain name, right? So you will require one domain name of your own. For example, my name is Anirudh, right? So I can have www.anirudhrao.com. That would be my website, my domain name. So you can purchase these kind of domain names, based on whatever is your requirement. And again, a simple Google search will show you what all free domain names you can pick up. And there are, the popular choice here is to actually buy a domain name, because you can get it at whatever name that you are requiring for, and you're going to hold it, right? So if you build a brand around that, you're going to copyright that, you're going to carry it forward throughout until the end of the business. So there's so many things here that you should know, but then a domain name is one of these important things. So after having a domain, after setting up all of your backend servers, after creating your website, after hosting it, pushing all your data online, you will have to publish it. Now, once you publish it, this is when people across the world can land on your website. They can check it, they can interact with it, whatever it is that you're trying to convey via the website. You're showing a video, you're showing images, you've written a blog, whatever it is, people will will get to know that at this point in time. But it's not only just publishing, right? So you want people to come to your website. This is where we call something called as driving traffic into your website. Traffic is general population who are online, and these guys are the ones that will come on your website and interact with it. Now, there's two ways of bringing in traffic. One is called as organic traffic, where you really do not have to spend any money for people to actually come and visit your website. But then there's another way where it's paid traffic. So basically, you put up advertisements, you pay for people to feature your website in a way where through that people will definitely come on your website too. So driving traffic is something which is very important, because if you have the most beautiful website in the world and if you don't get viewers to it, there's no point there, correct? So how can we bridge that gap? In my opinion, marketing is something that will work hugely, right? And in fact, we have comprehensively put together videos on our channel itself of how one can go on to mix and match marketing with a brand, right? Digital marketing. And in fact, a couple of days back, I myself had a session on how social media marketing can be used for all of this as well. So make sure to check that out after this video. But then understand that, well, marketing is something where you can take an idea and grow it out into a full-scale product, into a brand, and things really explode on social media, especially, right? When you think about it, if something is trending, everyone wants to see it. There are 4 billion people across the globe using social media right now, and in that particular case, if you appeal to even 10% of that population, your website can go from 0 to 100 real quick. Now that is my point. It's not only about creating your website, you have to think about the big picture, which is also marketing your content there. But then all of this is okay. You can build a website for free. We've checked that out now for sure. But what does it do for your career in terms of website building? Well, understand this. A web designer's career, a web developer's career is among the top 10 jobs in this particular decade. And the second thing is that there are business requirements, right? It's not like whatever brands we have right now are going to be the only brands forever. Every day there is hundreds and hundreds of businesses being floated around, new businesses coming up, new individuals wanting business. So there will forever be a requirement for websites no matter what. This is a bulletproof career domain in a way where there will always be a requirement for a web developer, a web designer, a person to create websites no matter what. And of course, this is the mobile era, right? It's so convenient to open a website. All I have to do is unlock my phone, which I don't even have to touch my phone anymore. I have to show my face. My phone unlocks. One click will take me to a browser and it'll already load a website for me. That's how convenient it is. 2 clicks maximum, right? So that is something which definitely adds to the simplicity of majority of humans hunt for today. And it's a one-stop solution, right? If you are a small business, a big business, an individual, a lawyer, a painter, a photographer, whatever you are or your client is, having a website means that no matter what details they want about you, it is there. Do they want to contact you? Available. Do they want to see your work? It's available. Do they want to reach out to you for problem solutions, questions, whatever it is, whatever content that you're putting up? Everything is possible with a website, right? That is exactly my point with this particular field. Now, the average salary of web designers are something which is very interesting, because in the US, the average salary of a web designer is somewhere around $80,000 per annum. In India, it's somewhere around 6 lakhs per annum. And of course, in the UK, it's somewhere around 47,000 pounds. Now, this is a very lucrative job, but of course, you need to have the skill, you need to be trained, and you need to have this kind of a passion for art. You need to have this kind of an interest towards building a website, right? See, now you can put the most amazing content on a website, but if it doesn't look good, if the aesthetics are not good, it will not work, because people, when they go onto a website, the first things that they see is definitely the aesthetics aspect of it, at least in my personal opinion, because I subconsciously look for a website which looks beautiful at the start itself, and then my head goes into the content, right? And I'm sure you guys can agree to that at this point of time. But then now, to show you how you can go on to do all of this for yourself, right? So I'm going to take the initial approach where we spoke about templates of how you can customize it, how you can use it all on your own. So to do all of this, I actually have a demo here. See, I will just open one HTML file to show you what it is that I've created first.
So this is a sample website that can be edited as per your requirement by making use of basic tools such as HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Bootstrap. Well, HTML is one of the foundational concepts that gives you this kind of a foundation for your website. CSS is cascading style sheets, which is used to style all the elements. For example, adding color to the box, changing the color of the header, so many things, right? So all of this is taken care by CSS, which looks after styling. And now that you have now that you have a foundation, now that you have styling to it, you need some functionality, right? So for example, if you have something like a form or something where someone has to fill up their name, email, and hit submit, that is where you would require JavaScript. And Bootstrap is again complementary to CSS, where you'll be using that to create even more aesthetically pleasing websites. For example, you can see the change in transparency and the way the website scrolls, right? That is because of Bootstrap. Now, this is what a website would look like because it consists of many elements. Now, what are these elements? Well, first, this is actually the HTML file that I opened. So if you have any sort of HTML file, you can open it with any sort of word editor. Now let me open it with WordPad. Now, as soon as I open it with, if you are overwhelmed to see, these many lines of code, and in case if you did not know what they mean, well, do not be concerned, because at this point of time, all of this is a good amount of HTML and CSS code. And once you get trained on working with HTML, or you can go on to use all of this easily. So the basics of HTML involves, the concept what we call as tags. Each of these things that's closed by a triangular bracket is called as a tag, and each of these tags have their own meaning. And there are a couple of tags which are compulsory that you have to use. For example, the HTML tag indicates the start of a document. It has to be used compulsorily. You have the head tag, which denotes the header. You have the body tag, which denotes everything that goes on into the body. There's many tags, right? So there's double-ended tags, there's single-ended tags. Single-ended tags basically means if you use one tag, you can achieve its purpose. But with a double-ended tag, it is something like this, right? See, the first line, we opened the HTML tag and now we have to close it. By closing it, what I mean is, its functionality ends at this point of time, and it has this /HTML / denotes its closure, right? There's so many things in this simple piece of HTML code which is responsible for creating a beautiful looking website such as this. Now, to edit it is something which is very simple. For example, on the first line here, you see it in bold saying sample website, right? Now, can we go on to change this to do anything? So to put up anything of our choice, is it possible? Well, the answer is yes, of course. You can put in whatever text you want, whatever images that you want. Now, which is the section that would contain a sample website? The simplest way to check out is for header tags. If you do not know header tag, it is the H1, H2, H3 class. And now I've put in here saying sample website, right? Now let me change this. Instead of sample website, I'm going to say welcome. Welcome dear learners. Now that I've changed it, let me refresh the page. Well, it did not change, right? Why? Because I have not saved this. Well, now let me save it, and as soon as I saved it and hit refresh, you can see it says welcome dear learners. So you can go on to change anything like this in a very simplified way by creating your own website. You can have images inside these boxes. You can change the color of these boxes. It's not only just this. This is a very simple example of making use of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Bootstrap. But at the end of the day, you can do a lot. If you are trained in working with, let's say, jQuery and HTML, CSS, and all of these tools, you can create a website which is probably 10 times more beautiful than this in your first 1 or 2 months of learning itself. So this is one of the most important things that you have to know. And it's not only just this kind of a file that has all the details, right? It's not only the .html file that contains everything. For example, the image that you see there, right? The image that you see here on top. So we have to have a separate folder with the image. For example, here, this is the image that you see on the screen. This is a free stock photo that's available on the internet. You can have any image of your choice, of course. You can have a video also. You can have a short animation, whatever it is that you require. And our HTML file is picking up the data from this particular folder. So whenever you're hosting something, all of this will be on the server, where you host. For example, if I go on to measure this, it's all of this is just 4 megabytes in size. That's about it. But then there are websites which can get big, which consumes a lot of data. For example, if you're watching this video on YouTube, the YouTube video itself is such a huge size. You're watching it in full HD, I'm sure, but then it takes certain space to kind of store it somewhere, right? In that particular case, yes, it does work. And then of course we have Bootstrap, we have a folder for CSS, we have all the images as I just discussed, you have the jQuery aspect and the JavaScript part of it, and all the fonts that you see, right? We used custom fonts. Of course, you don't have to do this. All of these are present here as well. So based on what is the font that you require, images that you require, styling that you require, you will go on to work with it. Now this was in fact a template which I have customized to my particular requirement, and again, even if I had to write this from scratch, it is pretty simple. It is possible to do so. In that particular case, whatever approach that it is you are taking, I am sure you can go from having nothing on your website to creating a beautiful website which is as simplistic as this very quickly. So on that note, do head to the comment section, do let us know in case if you have created any websites of your own, or in case if you have any ideas that you think are nice for websites as well. And of course, you can also let us know in case if you've come across any good tools that has helped you in building a website and more.
We hope this session was very informative for you all. If you have any questions, any comments, or any suggestions, make sure to head down to the comment section below and do let us know. We'll be more than happy to help you out. On that note, I hope all of you are keeping safe. I wish you well, and I'll see you on the next one.